Honored to stand here today with dedicated colleagues from within the Department of Justice as well as beyond it to announce a historic settlement with Pfizer Incorporated, a pharmaceutical manufacturer, and its subsidiary Pharmacia and Upjohn Company, arising out of civil and criminal allegations relating to Pfizer's allegedly illegal promotion of various drugs, most notably Bextra. In a combination civil and criminal settlement, Pfizer has agreed to pay $2.3 billion, the largest healthcare fraud settlement in the history of the Department of Justice. Within that $2.3 billion is a criminal fine of $1.195 billion, which makes it the largest criminal fine in history. When a drug is marketed or promoted for non-authorized so-called off-label uses, any use not approved by the FDA, as was the case here, public health may be at risk, and there's a real danger for patients that the medical providers who prescribed the medicine or the device aren't provided with, don't have full information about the drug's risks and benefits.
The Office of the Inspector General in this department, Dan Levinson, is here on the stage with me this morning. Spent 4 years in the conduct of this investigation. They didn't just implicate Pfizer. They actually identified and charged the senior managers who were responsible for the fraud.
Strike in South Africa for Captain strike is black pupils. They're coming to burn our businesses. They're coming to Allahu Akbar!
Behind you! 313 Badr! Remember, SAPS first! They're the authority! We go behind them! Clear! Everybody clear the road for SAPS! Let them go forward!
Thank you, Bolana.
Situation inside Dando. I can go inside and get kola. Situation inside Dando. When I read, when I sondo, when I whatever. When the situation is passing, Perusa is wako, Ushaisa is wham. The way Peru 16 in Motiam is on
Big near you. Now I want to talk about this because this is talking about local communities and it's talking about large communities that they're about to get ready for these events and it's happening near you. I'm going to give you maps of this and I can't even highlight how big this really is. So this information that you're about to get here is direly important to society and how we navigate through what's coming. So let's get into this important information with you here live. And I want to thank you for tuning in here right now. And thank you for just being conscious and aware of the reality that we deal with on a daily basis. So first thing before we get into it, and I'm going to show you what's being prepared for. We told you that they were starting it off July 9th. Cyber Polygon had begun then. And so everything was already prepped and ready. And so the first person to declare a cyber disaster emergency was pretty much Germany. They were the first ones to do it. So on a worldwide level, we already know what's pretty much being prepped on that note. Now, what I want to tell you next, pretty much details and highlights super big information. So I'm going to take you into this right now as we get into it with you here live. So, obviously, that's a report of German cybersecurity watchdog confirming first cyber catastrophe. But this next report is pretty big, and it's a DHS training event. Not just training, this is pretty much what's going to be happening. It's called MGT 433, Isolation and Quarantine for Rural Communities. And I'm going to show you dates on all of this. So this is going to be super important for you to get out with everybody and spread like a wildfire if we want to understand and interact with what's coming. So it says the 8-hour instructor-led course is designed to provide the knowledge necessary to begin planning for situations requiring the isolation and quarantine of large portion of local and rural population. This training will provide public and private sector emergency managers, community policy makers, public health, public safety personnel with the general knowledge necessary to begin planning for situations requiring the isolation and quarantine of a large portion of local rural population. So here it is. Here I'm giving you this information. I'm going to take you next into where on the map and where the dates line up for this training to get you deeper into this event. But as we look into this and you look on the news and they got government lists for you know who, and basically those lists when they come, and basically already have people saying they'll come, you know, like Biden said, is going to come to the door, going to talk to you. But guess what? You'll be on a list if you don't do you know what. And so it goes from there. And that's why this is so important to highlight. And people don't really understand how important this is, because even on the news, they're starting to say, well, these people on this list now will be the people that, you know what, you know how everything goes from there, man. The big, large community, rural abilities. And let's go back into it. It says rural communities' ability to collectively respond to an emergency requiring isolation quarantine is not essential to minimizing negative impacts to the community's risk, but also minimizing long-term negative economic and health effects on the American public as a whole. So when you go to the training schedule, let's go to it. While you're tuning in live, you're looking at this. Do you really believe this is going to be the nice quarantine where, oh, everything's going to be fine for you? How do you think these people are really going to interact with you? How do you think the whole society at large is going to be treated when this goes down? If you're deemed a threat, they literally are saying now we're preparing to lock it down pretty much. Not like, you know, basically all across the world where you've seen that happening. This is the approach that they're taking now. You look at this map, it has a training schedule and it's showing you, they actually say nationwide on here too, but they only show up here that part. So let me read some of this for you right now. It says special instructions. The RDPC class registration can be completed by clicking the link down here. And let's go to it. It says these are the scheduled areas right here. It says each class is scheduled using host local time. For example, it shows Texas and stuff like that. And it goes down even more. And it's DHS certified. So by the U.S. Homeland Security is where it's going down. So they got pages and pages of information where you can go and look through all of this. And sorry for all the scrolling, but I wanted to get this out because this is what they're talking about. They're getting ready to do. They got their map outlined and they have places in Virginia, lots of other areas where they're saying they're going to do this. I'm going to leave this information below and put out all this information. So pretty much get this out. This is super darling important. People really don't understand how important it is to see what's coming before it comes. And then here is look who's telling you to, you know, snitch on your family members. Family members and peers are often best positioned to witness signs of mobilization to, you know what, the violence help prevent homegrown, you know, extremism. And so the FBI is basically saying, tell your family members need to check on people, you know. And so again, going down, let's see what people say. Trying to turn family members on one another and get them to snitch to the government for suspicious behavior seems like a bad move, reminiscent of well-known past regimes, somebody says. So this is where we're at right now, people. And I want to just put this report out because, man, that's talking about mobilizing to come to communities and then like lock it down. And so that's a little bit different. That's actually reminiscent of what they showed in the predictive programming in Songbird as well. So again, thanks for tuning in. Please get this report out. I did a report the other day that you can check out on that side, exposing more of the agendas as I do weekly. But getting this out at large is going to be important so people can understand what is going on and understand how big of an event that we're going to be dealing with. Thanks for tuning in.